So good morning, everyone. I'm so excited you guys can be here. I'm Mariah again. I am from Clovis Community College. I am the Adult Instructional Coordinator. I always forget the name, it's so long. But I am excited to be here today. I have taught ESL classes for quite a few years, and then I have also taught the HSE ELA portion. So I do know a little bit of both, and I'm going to be presenting both of them. So if you think that this is just ELA, just ESL, I'm going to try to incorporate both as much as possible. I'll be honest, you might see me lean a little bit more towards the ESL simply because I'm a little bit more comfortable with that, but I do try to envelop all of them together because they do all mix. ELA is English language acquisition. So we want to make sure that we are encompassing all aspects of the English language, not just, those who are learning it, but everyone and across the board who is learning English. So I see a couple of you in the chat. Hi, y'all. I'm excited. I think I know some of you. Yes, I do. But if you have any questions, I will be moderating. Excuse me. It is Friday morning. We are so happy about that. But I'm glad this week is over. I'm glad y'all are here. Anyways, I will be moderating. So if you see me looking over here, it's because I have my dual screens and I'm going back and forth. So don't think I'm like distracted or anything. I am just going back and forth between these sessions. So here we go. There's a lot of information. So when we're doing this, I don't want you to think, oh my goodness, I have to learn everything and I have to be an expert in it all. No. One of the biggest things whenever you're looking for a virtual tool is you have to figure out what is going to be the right tool for you. So how do I know what the right tool is? Well, you kind of have to think, what exactly are you looking for? And that's going to be the big question is, what are you looking for in creating or in finding a virtual tool? Now, if I were just to go on the internet and I wanted to see kind of what came up, and I typed in ELA Virtual Resources, you'll get thousands and thousands of results. Some of them you have to pay for. Some of them are kind of sketchy. Some of them are really good. Some of them are just out of this world. Some of them aren't even English or American English. They're British English. So how do you know what to do? So you really want to think, what am I looking for? And I'm going to cover 4 ideas today. So the first one is the easy ones, which is me. I love easy. If it is easy, that's better. I'm not going to take a lot of time. These are going to be those that are minimum lesson planning, but they have a high student response. Student like them. There's a lot of student engagement. And you're going to see that when we go through these activities. So if you're looking for easy, I'm your girl. I know easy. We're going to look at those that are Google Classroom friendly. So since we're all virtual right now, I know we all have different learning platforms, but specifically with the New Mexico distance learning, or what you guys know as NMDELT, we do have the G Suite for education, meaning that we do have Google Classroom as part of our what we have subscribed for in our domain. So I do look for stuff that is Google friendly because a lot of people, not everyone in New Mexico, but a lot of our adult ed have the Google Classroom, or they're working on Google Classroom. So I try to look for those that are Google Classroom friendly. The next one we're going to be looking at are self-study options. And these are going to be those that, you have those students that might be, if you're in HSE, you have those students that are right there at the edge, or they just want to study more. Maybe your classes aren't in session, or maybe they have to wait for registration. We do have self-study options, and you can find those. Some of them are going to be paid. You have to pay for them. Some of them are going to be free, and we're going to talk about both of those today. And then the last idea that I'm going to encompass are those that are personalized, those that are high lesson planning and have high response. I'm going to explain a little bit later what I mean by high lesson planning. But for the most part, this is what I have down. And I know there are a lot of other subsections that you might be looking for. But for me and what I've looked over, and there's a survey that y'all take at the beginning of the term that lets us know what you guys are interested in. And all of these kind of envelop, these 4 ideas enveloped what you guys were asking for. So we're going to start with the easy, okay? Because these will make me happy. These will make you happy. So easy, minimum planning, high response. I'm going to show you all of them, and then we're going to go to each one step by step and kind of show you just a quick overview. I don't want to get too in depth with these because there are a lot of things that you can do with them, but I just want to give you a brief overview of what they are and how they can work in your classroom. So ReadWorks is one, Common Lit, and Reading Vine. These three are specific to reading comprehension and their reading passages. Live Worksheets and Khan Academy are also some that are really easy and you can integrate pretty easily into your classroom. All of these have some sort of lesson, some sort of activity already created with them, so you don't have to do a whole lot of anything. So we're going to go to ReadWorks right quick. And has anybody used ReadWorks before? Give you a moment while I log in. It is one of my favorites. All right. So ReadWorks is really nice because it allows you to pick a reading passage, and then it has questions. So some of these questions are going to just be comprehension. Some of these questions are going to be vocabulary. So I could do activity type. I want vocab, and I want, let's say we'll do full question set. So I can come here and I can pick the activity I want, and then I can also pick the grade level. So if you're wanting something pretty specific, you can go ahead and choose one of these grade levels. It just depends on what class you're teaching. You could also do it by topic. You could do it by text. If you're looking at Lexile level, you can go ahead and do that. I know the Lexile levels. I did teach 1 year of, I was a reading interventionist, so I had to kind of learn what that meant. I know a lot of our teachers here don't, or let me say that, some of our teachers don't know what the Lexile level is. That's fine. It's not something that you really have to worry about. But there's so many ways that you can filter through this. But I'm just going to pick, let's go ahead and choose this one. So in this right here, it is a quick passage. And I like this for my ESL students because I can hit play and they can listen along and follow some of these words. Because I know, like, if I were to give this to my students right now, they wouldn't know what the word parasite was. But they can also click on this and it would give them a translation. And it does give it in one of the main translations that are most common here. So as far as assigning this, you could go in here and they could come here and it would show all of these questions. Now, why is it easy? Because you guys don't have to grade. The only thing that you have to grade are the open response if you want them to answer them. Some teachers don't have them answer that. But these are quick questions. You don't have to think about what the questions are. You can come in here and look and see if you like the questions. But other than that, you don't have to do a whole lot of grading. So there's the full questions and then the express, which the express, this is, like I said, you don't have to have them have those extra questions down here. So this is really nice because, like I said, it doesn't require a whole lot of planning. It doesn't require a whole lot of figuring out what questions you're going to put, or are these questions acceptable? You know, what am I looking for? You can just come right here and assign it, and it's easy for you. The next one that I have is Common Lit. Now, Common Lit is similar to ReadWorks. The only thing is Common Lit is common literature, meaning these are passages that that students might read often. So again, it's the same thing. I could come here and I could pick a book, and these are book pairings. So that doesn't mean that they're actually going to be there. So like if I were to click on Frankenstein, it might not have the book Frankenstein here, but it pairs it with something that is similar. So if you are talking about Frankenstein in your classes, then you might want to do, you know, scientists clone human embryos to make stem cells. This might be connected to it. So it's not exactly the book, but it does connect to that idea. So same thing here. If I were to click on this first one, I love this because I could have them read it. As it goes along, it does explain. So this one has quite a bit of explanations because it is a very intense or in-depth reading. But the other thing that I like is it has guided questions. And these guided questions are found throughout the article. And they could just click on it and answer the questions as they go. Just to, you know, as a stopping point and say, you know, stop, make sure you understand this, and then keep going. Then at the end, they have the assessment questions, which after they're done, they can go ahead and just answer these to, again, make sure that their understanding is, that they're understanding it fully, I'm sorry. And then the last one is a discussion. And I like putting these into my Google Classroom because it gives you sometimes a video to kind of lead them, or just this question that you could go back and forth. So this is really good. If we were in the classroom, you could just download the PDF and print it out. It would be nice. But again, this one, all the questions are here. It grades it for you. You don't have to do a whole lot unless you want this. They do have the extended responses, just like in ReadWorks. I like CommonLit. I use it more for my HSE students than I do my ESL, because I can kind of guide what those levels are. And these are the passages that a lot of our HSE students are going to see on the GED. All right. And then we have Reading Vine. Reading Vine is the same thing as ReadWorks. I don't see a whole lot of difference in it. I do like the way it is set out. So if I came here to passages, it has a very different feel to it. I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. And so you could create the PDF. Again, if we were in the classroom, I feel like this would be really good. It has the comprehension questions. You do have to register. All of these you have to register in some way, but these ones are free. So you can go in there, just put in your password or your email and password and be done with it. But all of these are here. It's really, really nice because it's quick, it's easy. You don't have to do a lot of planning. You don't have to go searching for the answers. You have your PDF, and your answer key. And it's really, really nice to just do those. All right. So these ones for reading. These ones are going to be more of the grammar if you want. And I love live worksheets because they're so nice. They're so easy. So if I wanted to look for something, and let's say I was talking about prepositional phrases. Forgot how to spell that for a second. So let's just say I'm doing a prepositional phrase. Okay. So it gives me a page, and then it tells me, answer the question. So what your students would do is just answer the question. So it says in this one, what is the prepositional phrase? So I would say across the street. Ooh, wow, street, there we go. So that's all I would do. And so your students can come in here, fill this out, and when they're done, they could hit finish. And it gives them two options: to check their answers or email their answers to the teacher. I prefer that they check their answers because it gives them an option to go back and do it over and over and over again. So if they were just to click this, it would automatically grade it right then and there. They see their mistakes. If they wanted to do it again, they could redo it and send whatever grade they wanted to you as soon as they got it. But you would be able to see their work and their responses in that. So what I do with my students is once they do this, I just have them take a screenshot and send it to me as part of an attachment or through email, Hangouts, whichever ones they feel comfortable with. But this one is really nice. Again, it's very easy. You can just search through here. They'll have some of it. So like you saw, let me go back. They didn't have a whole lot for prepositional phrases, but whatever they do have, it will be here and available to you, which is really, really nice. And the last one is Khan Academy. So Khan Academy is pre-built lessons and courses. It is a huge database of information, and I love it the very first time I took it, or I went through it. So it does have reading, so reading passages, vocab, stuff like that. The part that I really like is the grammar, because a lot of our students don't know grammar, and it's really hard if you're trying to explain a concept and they don't know it. So I do come here, and they can just come and you can get started. They have the videos, they have the activities here. There's so much you can do with this, and you don't have to go step by step and have them do it all, but it does give them the opportunity to watch those videos. There are parts that they can read, and then there are these activities at the end, just to practice, and then there's unit quizzes, and then it's just really, really in depth, and it's a whole course in itself, which is really nice, especially if you're kind of struggling, or you maybe just have that one student who really needs to be, needs this focus, you can assign it specifically there. And I really do like Khan Academy. It's easy and you can assign it very, very easily. I said that twice. I'm sorry, guys. So the next one is Google Classroom friendly. So most of these assignments or most of these resources that I have found are Google Classroom friendly simply because it's what we use. And I do try to make sure that it's easy for our teachers. It's easy for people across the board. If you find something that's easy, you want to make it even easier for you. So the ones that are Google friendly are ReadWorks, Common Lit, Khan Academy, Live Worksheets. All of these can be easily plugged into your classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to ReadWorks. And so if I were to come here, and I'm just going to, I don't remember which one it was. I'm sorry. If I wanted to assign this, I could go ahead and hit assign. And I already have a Google Classroom, so I could just go ahead and hit authenticate to Google, and it would put me right in. So I could come up here to my class admin. Here is the one class that I have currently. So if I wanted to do it there, I could. If I wanted to create a class, I could import it from Google, and it would just connect your account, your Google account to your ReadWorks account, and you can search all your Google Classrooms and import it there. It's really quick, really easy. And all the students have to do is click on the link. It doesn't do anything else. They don't have to sign in. As long as they're in their NMDelt account or their Google Classroom account, it'll bring them to it. So we do have some problems where students will be in their personal account, and so they can't really toggle between them. But as long as they're in their account that is with their that is associated with their Google Classroom, they'll have no problems whatsoever. So the same thing with Common Lit. And if I were to log in, thank you. If I were to log in, it would do the exact same thing. So now you notice, instead of just download a PDF, I could assign the PDF. And I don't think I have a classroom created yet for this one because I haven't been teaching my HSE classes, but I will soon. So I could import from Google and do the exact same thing. And it would bring up all of my classes, and I could pick whichever one I wanted. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. If you want, you should probably pick one of these. It just tries to tie it together as much as possible to kind of give a better idea. I'm going to go ahead and do all of those. So I can import it, got it, and then it's just going to tell me what to do. Here we go. So right here, this is how I would assign it. I would just hit assign, and all of my students could see it. If you do this in enable reading mode, it would stop them at each one of those little blocks. So you remember how I said the guided reading is at the end of a couple of paragraphs? It would do that. It would stop it, so they have to answer the question before they can continue. But this is, again, this is really easy, and then you just hit assign, and same thing, students, all they would have to do is go to that link. As long as they're logged in with their Google Classroom email, they'll be able to hit the link and just do the assignments, and there is no other requirements for that. Khan Academy is the same thing. I have not used Khan Academy in a long time, but I know there is an option. I don't even remember my login, and I'm sorry, I should have gotten back to that. But Khan Academy does the exact same thing where you could come in here and you could assign, let's see. You can toggle, oh, excuse me, sorry. You can toggle it, you can just copy the link and assign it in there. If you are actually signed up and in your account, there is an option to merge it into your Google Classroom, which is really easy. It's the same thing. All of them will have a similar little Google Classroom link that makes it really easy just to toggle back and forth. Some of these you can. I have not used Canvas because we don't use Canvas within our, sorry, if you guys haven't seen, someone said, could you plug in these resources into other learning platforms like Canvas? So let's go ahead and look at that right quick. That's actually a really good. So this one does not import nicely to Canvas, but what you could do is still send them the link, or you could create their class, create a class of your own. So like if I wanted to do this, I could Um, I could do this, and then I could invite with Google. Again, if you have those Google accounts, or you can invite with a roster. So if you have students without that, you can do test student 1, test 2. I'm going to go ahead and add them. Okay, so the only thing now is that when students come in and they ask on their end to log in, they'll have to use this password, or sorry, they won't use this password. The password is that for all of theirs. And so whenever they go in, they just have to create the account. Here is their class code. And so you would just kind of have to do a step-by-step, log into here, go to this website, log in, do that. So it doesn't toggle very easily into Canvas. I know there are a couple on here that do, but for this one, it does not. You would have to actually create a classroom within ReadWorks and then go from there. And I think it is the same thing with Common Lit. So let's see, manage classes, create a new class, manually, test. Yes, so for this one, it would be the exact same thing. And you can either have them enroll on their own like this, or you can have them, if they already have an account, they can do it like that. This would be their login code or their, their class code. So you would do something similar, is where you would have to just show them the link, give them the step-by-step, but they would have to come out to this website, create their own account, and go from there. I hope that answers your question. So the next one that we have is live worksheets. And so live worksheets is another one that toggles really good. This one, again, it does not go into Canvas. I mean, you can just copy the link and they would be able to come here. No login required. But this one does have that Google Classroom option where I can click on this little Google Classroom icon. It would take me here. I would choose my account. And then I would choose the action that I wanted to do and hit go. And from here, I could build in all of my assignment dates, anything else that I needed to put in, and then create it as an assignment. Woo, that was hard to say. And then again, all they would have to do is click on this, and it would bring them straight here. No sign in, nothing that they had to do. Fill it out, and then they could continue on. And then the last one is News ELA, and I really like this. I would like to incorporate it more. I have not done it as much as I would like to. It's really new for me. But again, you can just sign in. And I signed in with Google. When I was doing the sign-in process, it tried to subscribe me for like a deeper subscription, and I just X'd out of those. So it's a little bit difficult signing in because I think it really tries to get you to go a little deeper than what they have like the free available. And so you just might want to make sure you're going through that. But I'm going to go ahead. We'll go ahead and do wildfires. And these are articles that there's some vocab, there's some reading comprehension. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this one. And if I were to assign, I would create my assignment. And then create new class. And this one does go into Canvas. So this one is really nice because you do have that Canvas option. You can do ClassLink, Clever, or Google. And if I were to do Google, it would do the exact same thing, kind of try to toggle me in. I would have to sync with Google. I could create my class. I have not done this yet, but there are all my classes. I could go ahead. I could sync. Oops, sorry. That is not what I wanted to do, but okay. And then I could sync it and it would just tie it all together. So now I could start plugging them all in. And this one I didn't have on the one that was really easy because like I said, I haven't played with it half as well. I it's been a while since I've actually looked at it, and I think last time it was because it tried to sign me up for something a little bit more in depth than what I was looking for. But this is really easy as well, and it ties in with Google Classroom, and like you were asking, it does tie in with Canvas and a couple of others. You could also just make your own individual classroom if you don't have Google Classroom or Canvas, but this one is one that is Google Classroom friendly. And the articles are really nice. They're very different. The layout is a little bit more of what I would think is like a newspaper or a magazine, like a real web page. And so it gives it a very different feel than maybe ReadWorks or Common Lit. Self-study. So a lot of these can be self-study, and I'm just going to kind of go back and forth between them. But these first four are, these first four are specifically for English language learners. So ESL students, we have USA Learns, where if you wanted to, you could create your own account and have your students get on, and you can manage some of their time. But students on their own can go in and just do whatever they wanted. They don't have to be our student or a student with a specific program. They could come in here, and it is free, so they could just jump in, do their activities, and it's really nice, but it is that self-study. So if you're looking for tracking time, it's not very good with that. But if you do have a student that just wants to study more, or if you have a student that is kind of like a transitional student between HSE and college, something like that, and they need just a boost, this might be something to kind of help guide them into that. It's really easy. If you just wanted to start now, it asks you a couple of questions. There's not a whole lot. It does have an app, which is kind of nice. It's structured a little differently, so it's a little bit hard to like navigate, but it is a free website, and I've heard students really like it. The next one is English Central. Now this one you can, and I've done a webinar on it, this one you can use as a classroom tool. You can create a classroom and do that, but what I've seen students use it as more is a self-study, because there are videos that they can watch, and it helps them because they watch the video, they have to speak, they have to practice repeating what they're hearing, they have to practice writing. So I've had a lot of students, they use, whenever I've created a class, they go in there and they use it, but they also have the option of searching for more activities. So they don't have to be stuck in one. They can definitely go and do more. And that's what I see a lot of students use this one for. And so this one is very self-paced. They have all of these. They do have courses as well. So they could just come in here and choose which course they wanted. So for example, business English, beginner, intermediate, English with Steve Jobs, business English, business and practice, media, social. All of these are courses that have already been built and designed, so students could just hop on here. They don't even really need to log in unless they really want to track their progress. But yes, they could come in here, and this is self-study. And I've during our interim, because we don't have classes right now until next week, I've had a lot of students ask me, what can I do in the meantime? And so I do bring them here, and I tell them, practice on this and you'll be fine. Burlington English I love Burlington English, and this is kind of something that I've noticed is working with ourselves. I'm so sorry. It's working with our program. I've heard there's several people across the state right now who are using Burlington English. I love it. Our students love it. Right now, again, during our interim, I allow our students to keep working through Burlington English. This is a webinar that is going to be later today. You do have to have a subscription for it though. So if it is something you're kind of interested in, this is good for classroom. It is good for self-study. You can use this in so many different aspects, but I've had more students use self-study. I think I have one student who's done at least 25 hours in the last 4 weeks of just self-study. That was outside of her classroom time. She wanted to go in and study, and since then she's bumped up to NRS levels. So we're really excited about the results that we're getting with that. Learn America is another one of the free classes. So they have different levels, and you could just come into any level and practice some of these concepts. So this one could work for ESL. It could also work for ELA for those who are struggling with the types of sentences or how to do their sentence structure. This is really geared more towards ESL, but it is still a really good website that students can come to. It does have a lot of ads, which can be a little bit frustrating, but it gives a good description. Sometimes there's videos, and then it gives activities. I don't see the activities on this one, but it is a self-paced, you learn as you go. The ones on the bottom, excuse me, that is not what I wanted to do. The ones on the bottom, again, read works can be self-study. Students don't need to wait for you to assign works. If they want to do more reading, they can do it on their own. Common Lit is the same thing. And Khan Academy, because they have those courses built in already, you don't have to assign them. Students can go in there on their own. Now, just notice if they do stuff on their own, you won't be able to track it. So if you're really wanting something where you can track their hours, it's not really something that you can do. So all of these are self-study, meaning that tracking their hours can be difficult if they choose to go on their own. And a lot of our students will, if they're really motivated, they'll want to do that self-study. So these are some options, because I know we all have that one or two students that are like, can you give me some more work, or is there something else I can do? So this is really good to kind of just keep in the back of your mind. Personalized and high planning. So the reason why I call these personalized and high planning is, I don't know if you guys have had the same issue that I have, but our students struggle with doing PDFs or working with a Word assignment, something to that effect. And so I call these personalized and which require high planning, because I don't expect my students to work on a PDF. It just doesn't work. Every time I've tried, every time I've tried to give, the how-tos, it just turns into a big old mess. So these are really good worksheets, but I do end up having to take them and expand on them, or modify them so that our students can work with them a little bit easier. And so it is difficult, and it does take a little bit more time than what might be ideal for some people. So I already showed you live worksheets where you already have some, but you can also make your own interactive worksheet. So if you have one of those lessons where you've had it for years and years and years, and you can't find it anywhere online, you can definitely scan it into your computer and create your own live worksheet. Or if you have a Word document that you would like to change and make it interactive so that way it grades easier, you can come here and make it into a live worksheet. It does take a little bit of time, so that's why I say it is a little bit more of that high intensive planning, because you have to make sure you get it right, and you have to make sure that it works properly. And I have one teacher in particular that does the majority of his activities on live worksheets. So I don't know where he has the time, but hey, that works for him, so that's great. I myself, I don't have that time, although I would love to. There's several worksheets that I would love to do that with. But me, with everything else that I have going on, I don't have the time. But if you have like that one or two assignments that you would like to change, you could definitely come here and make it an interactive worksheet yourself. E-reading. I love e-reading because they have very, very good activities, but most of them are going to be a PDF or a Word document. So if I were to come here to the language arts, I'm going to go grammar, let's say was and were. Okay. So it does have the description, and then it has these RTF files and the PDF files. So both are fine. I could go ahead and download the RTF and it wouldn't be a problem. But some of these PDFs, and so it would come up here, and if I just wanted to do this, like in class, this is fine because I could just print it out and be done. But again, I'll be honest, I'm very lazy. I like the easy route. So I want something that's going to be fast. So typically what I'll do with this is I'll take it and I will change it from this, and I'll put it into a Google form, because Google Forms are quick, they're easy, and they grade. The only thing is that they are time consuming, because I would have to take this one sentence, copy it, and then give the answers, A or B, back and forth. And then why is the use? So it would take a lot going back and forth from copying, pasting, and not all PDFs are like that. I know we could come here and I could, if I wanted to, I could just download this and have them work on a Word document. Sorry. I could just have this and have them highlight it. But again, I would have to go back in there and see, is this sentence correct or is that sentence correct? I like something that's going to be self-graded and easy. Again, it does take a little bit more time to plan on your end, but in the end, it really cuts back on your grading time. So I really do like this website. It's really good. I use it whenever we're face-to-face. And now that we're virtual, I do toggle it and use it with Google Forms quite a bit. Soft Schools is another one I absolutely love. It has so many different options. There is also the option to sign up, and it does have a lot of ads. But Soft Schools has the option where you could pay for it and get access to everything, but there are so many things that you don't need access to. So if I come to the language arts, let's go ahead and say I'm going to do contractions. So if you could see, these ones right here are free to you. You don't have to do anything. These right here are locked. So if you really wanted to come in, you would have to pay for that subscription. But other than that, this is what it is. And they're really good. But same thing here. I could come to the quiz. What I do with this is I can make the students come here and do the quiz. Sometimes they get frustrated with the ads, so I don't even do that. So again, I will take this and make it into a Google form. Just so that way it eliminates the time that I have to go through and make sure that each one is doing their assignments or that it's correct, or not having to look at so many pictures as they come through. I can come through and then I would be able to see which questions they missed a little bit easier than I would, here, because once they get their answers, I'm not able to see what they did or not. They'll just send me the score. So for me, like I said, I would change this into a Google form. And then the last one, I've heard a lot of teachers use this. I've not used it as much, but it is still really good. Grammar Bites, it does give you a lot of options. There are a lot of materials. So I'm just going to go to exercises. I'm going to go to comma splices. You could do the interactive worksheet. It's all online. Again, you aren't really able to see what your students are doing or not doing. If you did the handout, again, it's a PDF, but you could easily transform that into a Google form. So that is all I have, and I know we're like right down to the last minute. Are there any questions before we go? I know it was a lot of information, so I don't expect you guys to even take half of this and use it. You really have to figure out what works best for your program and what is going to work best for your students. Awesome. So before you leave, and like I said, I'm sorry, we are like down to the last minute. If you could just fill out that quick webinar evaluation, this really does help us to figure out what you guys need, how it was, and if we really need to be doing these kinds of sessions. Sometimes we think, this is so interesting and it would be good for me, but we really want to make sure what is going to be best for the rest of everyone there. Please remember, we do have Workplace. So if you are interested in meeting with other teachers across the state, we do have an ELA page. So if you are an ELA teacher, we will accept you into that group. And so you can keep up to date with what we're doing and anything else like that. And then lastly, if you have not done the professional development survey, it is quite long. So whenever you do have time, go ahead and fill out that form. And then motivational coaching is an amazing program. It's a 10-week session, but it is really, really good. So if you guys are interested in taking your teaching and student connections to a deeper level, I would highly recommend doing that coaching session or the coaching training. It is amazing. But it is 9:45 and I know they are doing a lot of fun things on stage. So thank you all for coming. If you have any questions, you guys can always reach out to me. My name is Mariah Gann, and I will put my email down in the chat. But other than that, have a great day, y'all, and we will see you guys soon.